Number one question I get asked, I don't think I ever share this, but the number one question I get asked when I walk the streets, on social media, every time I get a new animal is, what does your wife say about this?
Oh.
Every single time.
Wow.
And sometimes people even say, what would you do if your wife wouldn't let you have all of these animals? Fun fact, my wife was actually petrified of dogs.
Really?
Really. When we got married, it's interesting because I was a huge animal lover always. And when I met my wife, I mean, we dated for such a short period of time. We got married. And before I even got to tell her, I love animals and want to, this was, by the way, never my dream to have. It was my dream, but it was so far-fetched. I never thought I would actually be where I am.
Right. Wait, so before you got engaged, she didn't know that you're an animal lover?
She knew that I liked animals, but never thought she would
that you would have she would be a zookeeper.
Never.
Right, okay.
Never. It was never something that crossed her mind.
Okay.
And when we got married, I said to her, I would love to get a dog. And she said, haha, that's cute.
Oh, you didn't have any before you got married?
No, I never.
Wow.
It's interesting because growing up, maybe I'm overcompensating because growing up,
I remember you always wanted.
I always wanted a dog.
Yeah.
And my mom said, sure, no problem. When you get married, you'll get a dog.
There you go.
So I only basically had a goldfish. So now I guess I'm overcompensating for all the animals I didn't have.
Sure.
So when I got married and I told my wife I would like to get a dog, she was like, very funny. I'm petrified of dogs.
Wow.
So at that moment, she could have said, I'm afraid of dogs. Yeah, that's not going to happen. And that's the end of that. Which, by the way, for many couples, that's the case. Because as a therapist and as an animal lover, oftentimes either the husbands will come to me or the wife will come to me and they'll say, like, I really want to get a dog, but my wife, or a cat, but my wife or my husband doesn't want it. What should I do? How can I get them on board, right? So obviously, I never bring in my own personal stuff. I'm just sharing this here with you because we're in a safe space, right? No one else is watching us.
Yeah.
But it was at that point where she knew how much it meant to me. And she said, I'm going to allow myself to be uncomfortable, overcome my fear of dogs.
Wow.
And this was just with one dog, with Sophie, my golden retriever, right? Long story short, I mean, now we live in a zoo. So when people ask me, would you marry someone if she would say, she's not going to allow this? So we were in a place where she knew how much it meant for me. And she said, I'm going to allow myself to be curious. And because she was curious, it got her to a place where she absolutely loves, I should say, most of the animals. Okay. She doesn't really love the cockroaches or the reptiles as much as she loves the dogs or the parrots or the horse. But what I'm just trying to show here is allowing yourself to become curious, even though something can make you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, no, I mean, kudos to her for jumping in and really participating and being such a great sport. I mean, knowing, yes, all your animals. I mean, but that shows commitment. That shows how she's encouraging you to, keep your wants and your needs and your ambitions. She wants you to grow in your, in the things that you want.
For sure. I mean, thanks for saying that. Yeah. What I want to mention also, though, is because she allowed it, or I should say, because she was flexible in allowing it, I also made sure to respect her boundaries, which means if we have to go away on vacation, I will do everything possible to make it work. I will never use the animals as an excuse to say, oh, I can't go because I have all these animals. Or, for example, cleaning up the house. I make sure she does not have to clean up after the animals.
Yeah, that's a really, really good point. And so if we want to generalize this to other things in couples work, what you did was negotiation and compromise, good problem solving. So many, many times, we do have conflict in relationships. Just so everyone knows, 69% of conflict in relationships can't really be solved. That's what Gottman says, but all the rest can. So let's focus on the 31, right? But what we're talking about is you had a problem and you tried to figure out a solution together where both of you felt like your needs were being met. Like if you would have just went ahead with all the animals, right, and not cared about what she wanted or what she knew was important to her, then that wouldn't have been negotiation. That would have been she was giving in. But here, when you accept what the idea is, you're understanding her needs and she understands your needs, and together you're coming to a place of mutual agreement.